It's Clyde Roxing here. Today I want to chat about quick release. Now this unit that I built, as I've said many times, you do it one stage at a time, get it working first, and then once you've built it and you've got it working and it does everything it's supposed to do, then you start to improve it. Trying to improve it in the middle of a design, you end up with disaster, you end up mucking it all up. So, one of the things about, I saw a guy, I made a clip, quite a few of them, and I saw another bloke, a maker. I'm a design engineer, he's a maker, and he tried to make one up and it was a wonderful idea and he couldn't get it to work. Leverage, tension, weight, you learn that when you do a trade or when you work in a workshop, and if you're only working a workshop, half the theory that you understand is being told to you by people that basically, get told by other people, and you soon learn that not a lot of people know what they're talking about. If you listen to a tradesman, at least they've been taught the right way to do it. I've got 2 fully qualified trades, I'm in 2 trade unions. Now, with quick release, you've got to have some sort of return mechanism. It can be a rubber band, like I do stuff on the cheap. What I've done is I've got one of these gel pens, which are my favourite, and these I buy from Coles, and I'm pretty sure that's where I've been buying them. I needed springs, and so what I ended up was making this. I had 2 or 3 goes at it. This one was successful, and it worked, but it was only just a prototype, like it's just a intermediate thing. I got it to work and then I broke it because it made it thick enough, but I demonstrated that it worked, everything was cool. One of the things that you need to learn about springs work in a finite area, and even I was kind of a bit surprised when you're working this out. You think, oh, that hasn't got a lot of tension. That's because springs don't really max out until you get them nearly to their full compression. So you've got full compression plus a little bit, because you don't want to go pushing it down until it actually pushes against the spring and then goes solid. Hang on. Damn. Lung disease. So you give a little bit to make sure it doesn't compress fully. And I actually go this 3mm, and that was its working area. And you look at the length of the spring, it's that'd be 15mm long, I think, that spring. And its compression between compression and its base is only 3mm, so that gave a nice tension. And the idea is to have a rotating cam and have it sitting one way at rest, and then you go around the other way and it actually locks the part down. So it's a good system. These cam systems work well. Doesn't require a lot of tension. All you got to do is you got to be very careful when you design the cam. So the cam, in actual fact, is here. This is the one that's going where we're on the where are we? I think you can see it. Top view, right view. You can see the top of the cam there. Go for left view. Hang on, where's left view? Oh, here we go. Right view. Back view, front view. I just can't win here. You can't see the shape of the cam, but I did make a cam up. This one had a kind of a cam, as you can see there, which broke. This one's more of a square cam, and as I was making this, I did notice that my selection of rulers has become very important. With terrible eyesight, I'm 67, pushing 68 now. This was a fantastic ruler, right? This particular place that I bought this off, Shelton Lane, it depends on the people that you get. Some of the people behind the counter, well, my mate said, if you can't say anything nice about somebody, don't say anything at all. This ruler cost $7 or nearly $8. Look at the length of it. It's a 500mm, 50cm ruler. Look at the length of it. It's huge. That's a really nice ruler. metal edge. But the one I'm finding with doing this stuff, that used to be the type I used to prefer. But with that particular type of ruler, they got a little 3mm or 5mm bit at the end, which is no good when you're going right from a base. So that particular type of ruler is only good for school. When you go to engineering, you get this type of ruler. And I hated this one. The graduations were too fine. I couldn't read it. Didn't like it. Hated it. It's a good ruler if you've got really razor sharp eyesight, but if you're half blind, it's terrible. So I find when you're working in millimetres on the computer, this one's darn ideal. Now who makes this? I bet you there's no name on it. What do we got written here? Conversion table. You need to get, this is a fairly late model ruler, and see how the millimetre graduations are very easy to read. Dark, and they're heavy, and they've got graduating lines. The half middle line's a little bit hard to detect, but it is there. And this is a great ruler because it's an engineering ruler, and it's got no 5mm end, so you can butt it down when you're taking measurements, and you don't have that 5mm error. So if I measure this here, you can see that you don't have that little extension on the end of the ruler. So these little ones are great, but again, when I had good eyesight they were wonderful. Now I really struggle reading them, so you've got to be very fussy about what you use as a ruler. Your tools are critically important, and if you want little cheap springs, these biros are a little bit dear, but you can. This is one source of springs, and that's the one I'm using for that. This is going to take 2 hours to print out this thing. This is my new one, top view. That's my new apparatus. You can see the cam there. It's got a little bit of an edge on that, and covering up my filthy house because I've been working on the. I've been printing for days and days and days. I've burned up that much filament. Next year's being made there at the moment. Where we were, I've got it set in a permanent position now, and I've even got a light there. Yeah, check that out. And the light just went out. Bad connection. Those globes, you've got to keep tightening them up all the time. And how far are we into this? 6%, and yeah, it's got a while to go. About 2.5 hours, I think. But covering up filthy house. There's flies everywhere. I've got a cat, so it attracts the flies when I open the door. But and again, you need to have verniers critical for work on